I didn't hear knocks at the door and creeps, creaks in the floor and things like that. I'd see shit, man. I'd see clowns coming out of the bathroom door. I'd see shadows of
Hai korang. I'm trying to get
right.
Yeah. Apa khabar? Semua sehat? Welcome back. How are you doing? You good?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing out there?
You guys good?
Hope you guys have been enjoying our stories
And subscribing?
and commenting and liking.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us again on another episode of Naik Bulu Tales. My name is Fairil.
And I'm Mo.
And we are here to continue telling you guys stories from different walks of life.
I'll be honest, I've been really enjoying all the life experiences.
Yeah.
All the hair raising, all the goosebump stories.
I have been not enjoying hearing stories in my house because it's scary.
Yeah.
I gotta go to sleep.
We'll figure something out.
Just joking. Anyway, we have another guest today.
Yes.
And this guest you know very well.
Yes. Last week we had his boss on, Muna. And my friend of we've been friends since 2001 during our Sunway college days.
22 years.
Yeah, so he's the type of friend there. Like we didn't speak often, but when we catch up, it's like we pick it up from where we left off. And actually, what's funny about Vikram is he lives in Tamantun. We both have been living in the same neighborhood for 10 years and never bumped into each other. And I think only recently this year we found out, dude, we're neighbors.
How crazy is that?
So without further ado, Vikram Mogan. Hi, bro.
Hey man, how's it going, guys?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Thanks. Again, on behalf of Muna, who is the CEO of Quirk.
Yes.
Yeah, my boss.
Yes, my boss.
Thanks for having her on last week. I think it was a pretty enjoyable time with you guys. I mean, it was
it was good.
Quite a bit of a sharing that that she pretty much scared the living daylights of out of you guys.
But it's more that we're impressed at her bravery.
Yes. CEO material.
That is CEO material. Very pragmatic with her.
But we are here today to listen to your story.
All right.
So
What
do you got? What do you got, man?
I had a pretty decent childhood, in a sense. It was very much Stand By Me / Stranger Things-esque kind of childhood. It was we were always outside, and we were always cycling, and it was always camaraderie, and we didn't see gender, we didn't see race, and things like that, and there was always there was always something to do, right? It was always fun to be had. And things like that. And whenever something came out, something that drew national attention, like a movie, like a movie, for example, like Terminator, and
the one movies that stay with you.
Yeah, so the movies that really stay with you, so those became conversational pieces at rehat time, and at the playgrounds and things like that. So I'm just trying to set a little bit of context, to the story that I'm about to tell you guys. Now, what I'm about to tell you, gentlemen, is it has gargantuan panoramic proportions.
Jeez, no one has explained that way.
It's
a pretty big claim.
It's a good start.
This was around the same time, again, setting a little bit of context, so we've all watched movies where dolls come to life and things like that. And what's the first movie that comes to mind when
Annabelle.
No,
Chucky?
Yeah.
Child's Play.
Play, exactly.
More our generation.
Our generation, right? But there was really more 80s or mid-80s and things like that. And so the experience that I had was a little bit more, I was about 11 going on 12, so this was maybe early 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, so parents and I, my parents were doing decently and living in a suburb and things like that, and I was going to a pretty decent kebangsaan school at that point. And so the people who I met and spoke to and dealt with on a day-to-day basis probably watched and listened to the same stuff that I did on television and radio and stuff like that. So like-minded. But all that aside, this one incident, this one holiday, school holiday, when I was about 11, I think it was the end of the year break. Darjah 5 going to Darjah 6. Yeah, so a lot of anxiety because UPSR, right? So it was actually it was a coming of age kind of a period for me as well, and I was trying to and it was no longer a honeymoon period, so to speak, and that's probably one of the few times that my parents, or probably one of the first times that my parents used that term. This is honeymoon period before you actually start becoming. Becoming more exposed to adulthood. So that first leap or that first step into adulthood is UPSR. So that one holiday, I had a couple of cousins who generally would come around holiday period times and things like that. So they had come down and we were having a grand time. We were going to arcades, we were watching movies and things like that. But for the most part, hanging out at my home. Now, these cousins of mine, they had come from Seremban. Specifically, they had come from Seremban, and one cousin came from Klang. So there were four of us. In fact, that exact dynamic that you have on Stand By Me.
I like the premise.
Uncannily enough. Yeah. But so there's two of us who were close, me and this other cousin of mine, and what we used to do, we were very infatuated and interested in science, and all things science. And back then there was a subject called Alam dan Manusia. When you go to a kebangsaan school, means Alam dan Manusia was, which was they were the baby steps towards learning science.
What Alam Manusia means?
It's like humanities, so human and nature. Human and nature. Man and nature.
Yeah,
man and nature.
Yeah.
That was the subject.
That was the subject. Alam dan Manusia.
Interesting.
So and they had all these little experiments, that took place and things. So so this cousin of mine was a year older, and he had already gone through 1 year of being exposed to Alam dan Manusia. So he'd bring his textbook down, and then we'd sit down and go through some of the easy experiments to do and things like that, and just mixing oil and water, and then learning about what's that? It's the density, right? So oil is more dense, or is it?
Dense? Oil is more dense, but then it floats. It floats, isn't it?
Which is why it's more dense.
Yes.
So stuff like that.
We're not scientists, so
we are not. Disclaimer. So, in my room, when we used to conduct these experiments, there, for some reason, so a little bit of backstory to my backstory. I had just, moving from standard 5 to standard 6, I was actually sharing a room with my sister, and there was a double-decker big bed and all, and then my dad was like, my sister's actually 2 years younger to me, so I guess it was all right at that point. And my dad said, no, now you're moving on, you're going to be a big boy now.
Becoming a man. Yeah, that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, pretty much. You need to now, move into your own space. And so I did. And it was initially difficult, and you obviously being exposed to popular culture back then, you start seeing shit in the middle of the night, and and then you start hearing shit in the middle of the night and whatever, and but you eventually get over it.
Right.
So this was the first year I was actually I had my own room. It's a big deal. Boy,
the rites of passage.
Rite of passage, his own room, and setting up stuff, and having posters on the wall, and really, it's building an identity for myself. So for some reason, my dad decided that a lot of my sister's surplus of teddy bears be moved to my room.
Okay.
Right. So I had like this shelf. Okay, and it was a cabinet which was pushed up against the wall. It was maybe about a foot and a half in width, and about 4 to 5 feet in height, and laid lined up in sort of a very rudimentary order was these very old school teddy bears. I'm talking about, this was predating
Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies wasn't so popular in Malaysia, I think. Yeah, but it was predating maybe anything that we got that we know of, like teddy bears wise. So they look pretty scary,
All right, okay, yeah.
So when you look at them and things like that, so it was. So my mother took it upon herself to sort of arrange them and in a very masculine manner, so it didn't look too feminine, being in a boy's room, So especially when my cousins come in, and my cousins were from Seremban, so they look at me and they go like, "Teddy bears? Are you fucking kidding me?"
Serious,
yeah. You call yourself an Indian now. Teddy bears and shit. So anyways, one particular teddy bear sort of stood out. And
the Chucky one.
The Chucky bear.
Yeah, so I'll get to that. We actually coined a term, this cousin of mine. So anyways, so we were, we used to. So school holidays, right? So you don't really keep track of time. Time is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. From the time you get up and the time you actually go to bed, everything in between is time. It's time spent. So we don't look at our watch. We don't know. We don't care. Whether it's 3:00 in the afternoon. Whether it's lunchtime. If it's lunchtime, there's food on the table. We'll eat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we've got stuff going on.
Correct.
We've got stuff to do. So the 11 and 12, right? So typical of kids those days, and so we'll be frequenting in and out of the room, and this particular room was at the corner of so it was actually it was one of those old, I wouldn't say colonial, but it was one of those older designs, and it had like 70s, 80s. Those houses were built in, and I think this was in, I don't want to say where, but it was in an area a little bit more affluent.
Okay.
And houses usually were bungalows. And then there was a mass of land around it. So
PJ lah.
We know what this is.
I mean, wherever, PJ, Gasing, Damansara Heights, wherever you want to. But it was one of those houses, and it was one of those. One of those old government.
Yeah, there it is. I was waiting.
Yeah, so one of those government quarters, those kind of houses, designed, just for. It almost seemed like a house to get away, a holiday home, so to speak, for high officials from the government. So one of those type of houses, and the upstairs was pretty wide, and there were about 4 or 5 rooms. Once you climb up the stairs, it was flat, and then the rooms to the right and to the left, and then there was a little open space where it was like almost like a living room, so to speak, or like a common room.
Right.
So my room was at the very corner, the left hand side. Well, depends on where you're looking from, but it was at a corner, and there was a lot of light coming in.
Okay.
So there was no way of there being any doubt, that you didn't see something, because there was so much light coming into that room. So this one time, and this was the first incident. My cousin and I, we had just concluded an experiment, and we were very happy with our findings, and then we decided to go out and lari-lari, kejar-kejar and all that. And then I come back to the room, and there's a connecting bathroom, right? So there's a bathroom downstairs, obviously, it's a pretty big house. Definitely it's a toilet downstairs. But I just out of habit, I come up the stairs and I want to use my own toilet, but it's connecting to my sister's room lah. So when I come up, I sort of just at your so your peripherals, right? I just on my peripheral side, I just see this object, sort of askew. Now remember, I said that they were very neatly arranged, and in order. I mean, maybe not by size or by whatever, but they were arranged in a manner that anyone's perception would conclude that it's arranged neatly. But this, when I came in, when I saw my peripherals, I saw it was askew, slightly askew.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it. I went to the toilet and I went back down.
It's like something moved.
Maybe in my mind's eye, I would have thought that something is wrong, but I didn't think anything of it. Ran back down, play, came back up again to use the toilet. Maybe it was 30 to 45 minutes before the last toilet break. It was hot, so I was drinking a lot of water, I remember. This particular toy, this particular bear was maybe about yay high, and about if its hands were like this, right, and legs spread out means it'd be about this in width, yay high width, was on the ground, right, but just like someone had accidentally knocked it over, and things like that. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, whatever, so my cousins may have come up and used the bathroom and accidentally hit it, or something would have happened. Completely disregarded the fact that it was on the ground. And at that point, you're so preoccupied with fun, that just who cares, right?
Whatever lah.
Yeah, whatever lah. So I go back down. I come back up again. It's standing.
Oh my God!
It's literally raised. And standing on its two chubby little legs, and leaning up against that cabinet.
Okay.
And I swear to God, I didn't flip out, but I just thought it was weird and scary as.
It didn't feel right. Something was like, wait.
Yeah. So I ran down and I called my cousin. I told my cousin, look, are you trying to fuck with me here or whatever? Come up. I need you to see this. So he comes up and he sees it and he flips out. The guy goes pale because it's there. It's just leaning.
Oh, yeah. It's not like it's back to it. It's leaning.
It's leaning because it was just a second ago. Like 30 minutes ago, it was just on the ground, just like this. Right. Just like ragdoll style. It's just fallen off. A gust of wind could have just pushed it off. That it's up, erect. Leaning up against the cupboard this way.
Shit.
He goes pale and he says, Vic, you're trying to fuck me here, man. Don't do this because it's not funny. The thing about this guy is, we're talking about sensitivities, right? Earlier we had this conversation last week, right, about sensitivities in people and how they're more prone to the supernatural.
Right.
This guy, all his life, has been experiencing dreams, has experienced nightmares that have come so close to being real that he pees his pants. The guy pees his pants.
Man, that fear is real.
Yeah. So and I mean his father's a doctor, so the father tried to treat his condition later on in life, and because it did continue into college and all that, but what if I speak to him about this today, he will completely negate what happened. Right. He has no recollection. In fact, if I were to go into detail, he'd be like, yeah, I kind of remember, but you know what, Vikram, I know you fucking did it, man. You went up and you were trying to pull a stunt and this is that and all that.
When you're saying he's sensitive, you're saying he can see?
No, he doesn't see.
He feels.
Yeah, but he didn't feel. Well, he has. I wouldn't even say premonition. So it's mostly in his sleep that he experiences stuff, but it's so vivid that when he wakes up, it's almost that it's a lucid nightmare.
Shit.
Yeah. So this guy, after that incident, didn't sleep for a week. Slept in his parents' room. So now, for that whole week, he didn't stay with us. We had an auntie living down the road, and he insisted. He told my mom, "No, I just can't sleep here," and he insisted that he sleep with my auntie's house.
Yeah.
That week, ironically, I didn't get an ounce of sleep either. I was experiencing everything that was just completely out of the normal or out of the ordinary for me. I'd have dreams that transition from dreams into almost like a lucid reality. I'd have a dream about a snake chasing after me.
In your own room? Like just
chasing after me. And till today, today, little side fact, I do dream about the snakes chasing after me. But then I'd wake up and I'd see a snake. Like I'd see a black cobra coiled up at the foot of my bed.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So that was one, and then I'd see. I didn't hear knocks at the door and creeps, the creaks and the floor and things like that. I'd see shit, man. I'd see clowns coming out of the bathroom door. I'd see shadows of.
I'm sorry. So this is when you actually wake up, or you wake up in the dream?
No, so I can't tell.
You can't tell. Oh shit! That's fine.
But I know I'm awake.
You lost me at clowns, bro.
Clowns are not fun.
Yeah, no, dude. I've got. So when you see clowns, so they're not scary looking clowns, but seeing a clown. Yeah. Just seeing a clown and in your room walking out.
I mean, yeah.
So it's freaky as shit.
Yeah.
So and it was hard to tell the difference between reality and what was a dream. So it was sort of like it's something in between. It was lucid to some extent. But it was very real. Even till today, I can if you were to sort of plug in. And have me print out a mental image, it would be, the clarity would be, off the charts. Because I remember it. It was one of the few incidences that I will never forget.
It'd be in 8K, like not 4K.
Probably in 8K. 8K in surround sound and shit.
Okay, and then?
So, coming back to the bear. So, the cousin who decided to go and stay in my auntie's house, he had an older brother. Now, the older brother is this gung-ho, he's not scared of anything, and he's like macho to the core, and he was always someone that, was always good at sports and things like that, and he bullied all of us, so he wasn't part of the group, so we were doing science experiments for fuck's sakes. This guy is riding bicycles and doing all kinds of guy stuff, whatever it was back in the day. I mean, guy stuff in the sense that
non-nerdy stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't playing with Barbie dolls or whatever.
Guy stuff in the 90s.
Guy stuff in the 90s. Yeah. So right? Yeah. And so he pretty much a tough guy. So then I decided to share the story with him and tell him that this is the particular doll, and so the doll was on the floor when we never touched it, right?
So just like
the leaning, leaning.
So the leaning on the floor and whatever. So we called him to come and sort of get rid of it.
Okay.
So kick it away and things like that. So all he did was take it to the next room. To the common area, in fact.
Okay.
Now I remember. Common area was where the computer was. So he put it there where the common area was. And then so you fucking faggots, and he walked off.
That is definitely a 90s bully right there.
That's right. Kid brother goes and stays with the auntie, and I have to deal with my own shit and things like that. And so for the duration of the week, I'm getting these nightmares and things like that. Nothing. We don't see the bear move at all. But I shared this with him. The older brother, who's I think sleeping in the TV room at this point, and he's just having a good time, school holidays and whatever. I think he was standard 6 going on to Form 1.
So he stayed with you, and the younger brother stayed with the auntie.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when it was time for them to go, we decided that we need to do something about this. We can't just leave this hanging, because if anything, movies has taught us that the moment you turn a blind eye or turn the other cheek, shit's gonna happen. Shit's gonna go down.
Joe, you said you told the older brother about it, right?
Yeah, we did.
So what did he say?
He didn't believe us.
Okay,
He took typical 90s bullies fashion.
Okay, so he didn't believe
you. Fucking faggots. And then look at the stupid bear.
Right.
And you were playing with the little bear, and you tossed it into the common area. And so finally, when it was time, for everyone to head back home, we sat down and we decided that something needs to be done, because again, if anything that movies have taught us, that the moment you just look the other way, this is something is going to happen, right? And it's usually the people who are left behind that it's going to happen to. So we decided collectively that the only thing that we should do was a ritual burning.
It is something similar.
It's funny. So I just before you guys called me on, right? I was sharing this story with the cousin, the guy who actually experienced it with me,
the sensitive one.
Yeah, the sensitive one, and he said that. So I didn't even remember the burning part. So I have the message here, So just in case you want to know, I'm just going to pull this out. And he said that, do you remember? And then he goes, yes. And then he goes, I just have a memory of Ish burning out with a lighter. I think he meant to say burning it out with a lighter. Ish is his older brother.
Right. You actually forgot this moment.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It ended with a ritual burning. And my cousins and I, we sort of pallied up and we decided to give it a name, and dubbed it TedBear. Yeah, so
Ted.
Mark Wahlberg would be proud.
I know.
It's a horror version of his movie.
Yeah, I know, but TedBear, because teddy bear, and we weren't really a creative bunch at the point. So TedBear was the name that we went with, and until today we don't often discuss it. We meet very often, but every now and then after a few drinks, it does come up, especially when we're trying to impress our wives or girlfriends or whatever. So it does come up. It makes for a very interesting drinking story.
Do you actually recall the ritual? The three of you watched the bear just.
So just now when I was saying, and I do recall it, because remember I told you there was a lot of space around the house. It was one of those old houses, government houses, a lot of land, a huge plot of land, and it was actually, there was a swing. It was a very old school swing, and it was under that swing that we didn't bury it. We just burnt it. Just burnt it to a crisp.
Man, that's like a conjuring stuff, swing, tree.
So the swing had actually played a major significance to us. It was fun. School holidays, we'd always be on the swing, and simple times. Those simpler times, and why burning it under this? I think it was just, again, my cousin who was a bit foolhardy, and just tossed it there, and then he just decided to light it on fire, and it was, I think he had found a bottle of tinner. He had found a bottle of tinner at the corner where my dad used to place it, where we used to paint tinner, and just lit the whole thing on fire and burnt it.
So after that, what happened after that? After things have been,
that cousin of mine who actually took it upon himself to burn or to conduct that ritualistic burning, never spoke of it again. And this other cousin of mine who bore witness, every now and then we'd speak about it, and then I'd tell him, what do you think? Dude, man, he'll always brush it off and say, whatever, man, it was you. I know it was you. You moved the bloody thing, and you were trying to con us all and all that. But I swear, because I was always a little bit of a prankster, back in the day and things like that, Dennis the Menace or whatever. But it was I so vividly remember that it was. Can you imagine something something which is so ornamental, that you just that it's part of the furniture and it's not going to move, all of a sudden just takes flight, and ends up on the floor, and scares the living daylights, and you're 11, 12 years old. What What are you gonna do?
You remind me of the kids from It. You know, when they're younger, they experience the clown.
Yeah.
And then 30 years later, they're older, and you know, the clown comes back, and
it's crazy.
Hopefully, that's not the case with you, but
yeah. But so this is again how I started the story, right? You know, it's is it all just in our heads? Is it just a figment of my imagination? Is it popular culture just working on me?
Yeah.
You know, but again, we don't have content. We didn't have drivel. You know, that just didn't be fed to us on demand. You know, we'd watch something and we'd not watch it again for years on end.
What's funny is that it's just like any horror movie, right? The three of you, or at least the two of you, your cousin, the sensitive, can feel anything. It's you guys have built this universe. And in most horror films, adults never believe the kids, right?
Yeah.
Like your parents had no idea. To this day, they probably don't know.
Exactly.
Till this day, until now.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. You know, so it's not something that is subjugated by popular demand, popular culture. You know, it is something that has actually happened. You know, this is reality taking place here.
Yeah.
And being you're not 8-9 years old where you confuse reality and fiction and what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 11 years old. You're 12 years old. You know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So aside from Naik Bulu here, there was other places where Bulu was coming from.
Yeah. And then Naik Bulu and Naik.
Wow.
So we're pretty mature enough to tell the difference between what was fiction and what was real.
And nothing else happened after that, right?
So after that, no. But every time I tell that story, almost every time I tell that story, I get this eerie feeling, like behind my ears, and my ears start to heat up, and almost 90% of the time, something weird happens. And when I say weird, something out of the ordinary would happen. Like when the older you get, things become pretty monotonous, pretty scheduled, But every time I tell this story, something out of the ordinary almost always happens.
Like we suddenly had quite a bit of static
appearing on my bed. I'd see.
Hold on. Sorry. Where'd that come from? Is that mine?
I don't know.
The moment I said, "This is uncanny."
Yeah, we had some audio problems.
And
strange. It was really strange. But burning TedBear I think, was a good decision, to be honest. You basically, if it was a horror film that your life, it would have been dramatized for 90 minutes. The bear would be around you for a while until the third act, and then you finally burn it. Right?
Yeah, so the bear probably killed off half my family and my friends.
By that time you're like, oh, this.
You probably would have come to a point where, before killing the bear, he probably turned around and tell me, I'm the only one left. Let me be your best friend.
Yeah. Shit.
That's kind of like what Chucky does.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Chucky did, right?
The doll in Chucky is called the buddy doll. He's a buddy.
The buddy.
His name's Buddy.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude,
insane.
Thank you. Wow, for this story. This is a journey.
That's a great story, by the way.
Yeah, man. Seriously, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing. And man,
anytime, Joe. Anytime, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it was. When you were telling that story, like you were saying, when you were kind of lighting the premise of Stranger Things, Stand By Me, it brought me back.
I was like, whoa.
Brought me back, and it made me put myself in that situation of. The 80s and 90s, this kind of thing. So
your story was exactly that. I could, think about the kids from Stranger Things, Stand By Me.
I could see a trapper keeper here,
yeah,
or I see a lunchbox with the iron thing somewhere over
mechanical
there.
Pencils. Yeah, man.
So your mind immediately went to merchandising.
Yeah, yeah. And TedBear was on the trapper keeper. All right, guys. So if you guys have any similar incidences as Vikram, why don't you tell us a little bit about, comment down there,
Any dolls or bears haunting you, let us know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just before we end though, speaking of dolls, I've heard this thing before when I came back to Malaysia back in early 90s. An ustad once told me that if you kind of have these kind of dolls that are more like Barbie dolls kind of thing, you know? You're supposed to actually put an X on the back of the neck.
Whoa, I didn't know that. You heard this?
Because if you don't, because usually when a lot of spirits supposedly like to come into these empty shells, right? But if there's an X there, it means that empty shell is taken, so they don't go in.
Oh, wow.
So like no entry.
Yeah, like no entry. Yeah.
How can you do that on a bear though, with the fur? No?
I don't know.
Yeah, unless you shave it off, and
it just reminded me of that actually when you were telling me that. You know, it just kind of like.
Wow. It kind of makes sense, isn't it? I mean, it's almost like an empty vessel.
Yes,
right?
correct. Yeah, it's like an empty vessel, you know, and it's not in. So when people put the little X there or something, things.
I would think dolls and everything else are empty vessels already. So that'd be very interesting. That's just a simple X. It's a simple thing.
So dolls, right? And they're empty vessels, but it is us who actually give it life.
Oh shit! I like that.
That is true.
That's really good.
Deep, man.
That's deep, dude.
Dude,
you
Ken and Barbie
you go balls
came to
deep.
life.
You go balls deep, bro.
Oh, this will go so well with your Barbie, the Barbie thing going on here.
Is it enough? Yeah, we're enough.
All right, guys. If you guys have anything else to say, again, comment. Don't forget to subscribe, like.
Yes, follow Vikram on his socials.
Yes, sir.
You can ask him more about TedBear.
Thank you, Vikram, again.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Anytime, fellas. Anytime. Thanks,
until next time, on Naik Bulu Tales.
My name is Fairil.
And I'm Vikram.
See you guys again.
Cheers.
Peace.